Hey everybody. I'm going to go over the practice final exam that I set up for you in our courses. So I'm in my course right now, but if you're listening in Ms. Irving's course, it's the same practice final. Okay, so here I am on the course homepage. And I'm going to come up here to Assessments and then click on Quizzes. And what you see here, my view might look a little bit different, but we have our final exam, which starts on July 12th, and then we also have a practice final. Okay, so the practice final exam is open from today, July 9th, until 11:59 p.m., July 11th. You can go in and take this practice final as many times as you like. It will grade automatically, but those grades don't go into the grade book. Okay? And you can also, once you have finished the final, you can see the answers and the questions that you got wrong, but you can't see the questions and the answers that you got right. I want to explain a little bit about the final exam. As the practice final is. This is the part that you normally don't see because it's in the quiz setup. But I want to show you how the final exam is set up. All right, so we have, you see these folders right here. It has Foundations of Government, U.S. Constitution, Civil Rights and Responsibilities, Legislative Branch, Executive Branch, Judicial Branch, State and Local Government, and then Criminal Justice. Well, you may recall that these were the different units we studied in the course. Okay? You may also notice as we're going through these that there are some numbers attached to each of these. 7 from 60, 7 from 25, 7 from 51, 10 from 28, and so on and so forth. And what this means is for each of these folders right here, there are 60 total questions, but our quiz is only going to pull 7 of those. Okay, so there are 60 questions related directly to foundations of government. But when you take the final exam, it's only going to pull 7 of those 60 questions. Same thing with U.S. Constitution. In the same test, you'll get 7 questions on the U.S. Constitution, but it's pulling from a bank of 25 questions because there's 25 questions in this folder, but only 7 are going to appear on your exam. In the Civil Rights and Responsibilities, there's going to be 7 questions that appear, but it's going to pull from a bank of 51 questions. Okay? Legislative Branch has a bank of 28 questions, but only 10 will appear. In the Executive Branch, there's 59 questions related to the Executive Branch, but on your test, when you take it, it'll only pull 7 of those questions. Judicial Branch, 7 out of 63. The State and Local Government test is 10 out of 66. And then the Criminal Justice will have 5 out of 63. Okay, so the total number of questions on your test is 60 questions. Okay, but the total number of the banks of where these 60 questions will come from is actually 415. Okay, if I added up 63, 66, 63, and so on and so forth, I come up with 415. You do not have 415 questions on your test. You have 60. Okay, but it's going to pull from this bank of questions from these different folders. Okay, so why is that important to you? Well, every time you take that practice final, you're going to get a different set of questions, okay? Because how many times can you take 5 questions from 63, right? So, or 10 questions from 66. So, the practice final exam is set up for you to be able to take it as many times as you like. There's an unlimited number of times you can take that practice final exam. My idea behind this is that you will get exposure to just about every question on the final, which is great. You probably won't remember them all, but you'll get a good idea of what the questions are like, okay, and what the final exam is going to be like before it really counts for you, okay? So my suggestion is that you take this practice final exam as many times as you like. I'm not going to know, or your teacher is not going to know how many times if you went in. I mean, we will know who took the final practice final exam and who did not. But we're not looking to see how you're doing on the practice final exam because it's a practice. Okay, so if you really mess it up and come up with a 20, that's not going to mean anything because these grades are not going into the grade book. What we're trying to do here is give you an opportunity to know and understand what's going to be expected on Thursday when the actual final exam happens, and those grades that will be put in to the grade book. So your final exam will be on July 12th. It'll open that morning at midnight, okay, at 12 a.m., and it's going to close at 11:59 p.m. that night. So you'll have all day on July 12th to go in and take this test. The test is you'll have 90 minutes to answer all 60 questions, and it will be graded as soon as we can go in there and grade it, okay? There's also a final exam study guide. If you want to look at this is just a collection of questions that the questions on the final exam kind of pulled from. Okay, so it might be a great resource for you to go in and take a look at this final exam study guide. If you can take a look at it and feel like you can do a pretty good job in answering all of these, then you may do well on the final. Here are the questions that we've come up with. Okay, so there aren't any answers on here, but this is somewhat of a just a general study guide. You'll see questions very similar to this on the test. All right, so it'd be a good idea to take a look at that, but really to get your best study in for the final exam, I would come up here to assessments, go to quizzes, scroll down to the bottom, and take the practice final exam. Okay, so once you have completed the final exam, if you click on submissions right here, and mine's not going to show me what I need because I haven't, as a student, I haven't taken this exam. But if you click on submissions, it will allow you to see your attempts. And if you click on the attempts, you can see the questions and that you got wrong and the answers. So be sure to review your submissions. And if you have trouble doing that, just let me know. And I'll post another video on how to see the submission of a quiz. Okay? If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer questions for you. This is what we're doing today and tomorrow and Wednesday, and then on Thursday we will be taking our actual final exam. So thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, please let me know.